welcome to Brewskis and Housekeys. I am Nicole Kostelecki.
And I'm Nick Papantanakis.
And we're here, as always, in Remax Alliance in Old Town Arvada.
Someday we won't, I guess, have to say
Maybe
that.
we should do it, yeah.
But I feel like it's kind of fun to still tell you guys where we are, just because.
Well, of course.
I mean,
yes.
I think it's important.
Good to know.
Yeah.
It's also
A legal thing. There we go.
See,
this is one more reason.
Are you sure? I think you can host a podcast and not tell someone where you
should
are.
identify yourself as a realtor and where you work.
See,
There
this
we
is
go.
one more reason why Nico is important to this process. We don't
be a secret agent.
Yes, so
he's our
Right.
legal counsel. He's our podcast producer and guru, and also
Literally, he does everything.
He does
It's
everything.
Great.
a jack of all trades.
Delete my nickname.
No. I didn't mean that.
He does everything, but we were going to talk about something else.
Okay.
That's an inside joke. We'll tell you guys about that one later. I'm great. As we spoke about in last week's episode, this is my favorite time of year. I think I didn't mention this last week. The weather makes me extremely happy too.
Why?
It's just cut some of that heat out, and it started to be a little bit more of an enjoyable temperature outside. And I sleep like a baby when it's cold at night.
That is true. That I am very grateful for because my house is not 81 degrees anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
Which is so nice.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So how about you?
Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah?
Yep. All is well. I don't like winter. I will just tell you that. So sometimes fall makes me a little sad. So I'm not exactly ready for winter. But I do love the leaves and, football season starting and everything else that has to do with fall. Just sometimes I wish the snow would stay away.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I've got most of my family members are that way. They would like it to just go straight from fall to spring again. But I personally love the snow. I'm a snowboard person, so I love the snow, and I love when it's here, and it makes me happy. But,
For one day. But that's why it's good to be in Colorado because, what do they say? 300 days of sunshine.
You can go to the snow.
And that's good.
Yeah. And we don't have to talk too much about football season. Not a great start to the year for the Denver Broncos.
The other half.
I'm surprised you brought that up. Yeah.
But,
I know. I know my picks did terrible.
What was the
last
stat,
week.
though? I will say this. There was a stat that there were something like 11 teams that didn't start any of their starters through preseason. And of those teams, 3 teams won in week 1. So there's some data. Speaking of all the data that we give.
Find out. Yeah.
So we'll see. But, I've still got faith in the process. And I think there's a lot to learn for them from the last week. That's not what the podcast is about. I just got real excited about it.
But speaking of which, I am going to the game this weekend.
Are you?
So that'll be fun. Yeah.
Jealous. Home opener. That's huge.
Yes. Yeah.
What else do we have going on this last week? We had the Harvest Festival in Arvada.
Yep.
That was a lot of
We
fun.
did the parade. We walked in it. And it was
we were
very
adorable.
cold, but we were very cute.
I think so. And I will say, Nico, amongst his other talents, made this beautiful float for us that hung off the back of his truck. It was a big for sale yard arm looking thing that had a disco ball house hanging from it because the theme was dancing in the streets.
And putting all those reflective things on there was no easy feat.
No.
Nico and Amy did it,
Amy.
and they did a great job. And I tried to peel those things off.
They're miserable.
Very hard.
So kudos to both of them.
Yes.
And it rained the night before. So the cardboard house that was created turned into a pile of sequins and flashy things. So we had to improvise, but it was still fun to be able to walk the parade. Lots of people out.
There were quite a few.
It was nice
Lots
to
of
see
people
that.
wanting candy. I wasn't supposed to, but I did throw it at people.
I think
Someone
I
told
did
me nice throw, so that was cool.
That's good.
There was another girl I may have hit in the face.
Well, she should have been looking, I guess. I don't know.
Sorry.
I will say it was nice to see the turnout because it's been since 2019 since we've had the the Harvest Festival. So
Was it? Has
yeah.
it been? I didn't realize that. I
Yeah.
thought we still did the parade last year, though.
I don't know about the parade. I know that's what they
can't
had
remember.
said as far as like actual, having some sort of presence there. So it was cool. It was cool to be able to do that and nice to see the turnout. Saw some high school friends. So, it was cool.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So, what do you got in your glass there? Let's talk about that a little bit.
So I am drinking a Rusty Nice Face. It's an IPA. And it's very good. Was it a juicy IPA?
It's just a regular
Just
old
regular?
IPA. Yeah. And for those that don't watch the videos, as Nicole said, resting
It
nice
is.
face, there was some sort of small pause that she looked at the camera and gave this sense of.
And
it
I
was like,
hardly ever look at the camera, so this was the where.
I wasn't sure if you were like having a conflicting thought in your mind, or maybe it was like just like uncomfortable.
It was a little bit of
It was
both.
perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect. That's a resting nice face.
Oh, thanks.
So tasty beer.
So it is good. It is kind of fruity, I think. And almost, are you sure it's not hazy?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Thoughts? Look good?
It
Somewhat
tastes
hazy?
a little bit hazy.
Could be. For those of you at Black Shirt that are obviously going to be listening to this, please reach out and let us know what the actual answer is. But
Yeah. But it's good. Hop forward, but a nice, like, sweet notes at the end.
it's smooth. You know,
So
Nico and I
very
were talking
smooth.
about that before too. It's pretty
Yes.
pretty tasty as far as
I
know.
enjoy it.
For over 6% too. You can't beat that.
I like their beers.
This guy right here, this is the Lunatic Fringe. This is a red ale. Very, very, minimal hop flavor to it. It's very, very malty. It drinks like a 4.5% beer, but it's not. It's almost 6.5. So it's very smooth, very easy drinking. It's a pretty tame ale. So really good. Especially if it's like
It's
an
an
afternoon.
amber ale, is that what you said?
A red ale,
Red
yeah.
ale.
And if it's an afternoon like today where it's, 65, 70 degrees outside, you can sit out on a patio and enjoy this one, and it would hit the fall mark. So
Yeah.
Black Shirt's a cool place. They're down in the Rhino District in Denver on Walnut Street there. They've got a really, from what I understand, pretty tasty pizza kitchen run out of there. And
The wood burning?
I don't know.
What kind of,
Maybe.
did you see a big oven?
I did not see a big oven, so could be. But they also do a lot of live music out of there too. So a pretty cool place to go and just spend some time. And they got a big beer garden out back. So
I have not been there. Was that your first time?
it was my
going
second
in
time
there?
popping in to
time?
grab this beer. Yeah.
I have not been there, but I have tried their beers at many different beer festivals, and they always have some good stuff.
They crush it.
They really do.
Yeah. So thank you guys. Delicious beer. Black Shirt. Well done. Let's get to the topic for the day.
Let's do it. And it's going to be about what to do to prep your house for the fall. So lots of things that you can do to make your life easier. And yeah, Nick, why don't you get started?
Yeah. So, I mean, we did this back in the spring too, talking about, okay, we're through the winter time. What are we going to do to get our house ready to enjoy the outdoors and all that good stuff? So this is kind of a, the other side of that coin kind of thought process here. As a homeowner, obviously this time of year, there's a lot of different things that go on with the weather changes. One of the most prominent ones across no matter where you are would be the leaves changing and how beautiful that is. But also what that means to a homeowner is a lot of leaves falling from trees. And so it can mean obviously a lot of work to rake them up out of your yard and get them disposed of, or in my case, rake them up into a pile, have my daughter jump into them and then rake them up again. And then distract her while I put them into a bag kind of thing so that she can't keep doing that. But the other piece of the puzzle there is keeping your gutters cleaned out. I definitely suggest it after you see most of the leaves off your tree. I mean, that's hopefully a given. But, getting up there and cleaning out your gutters is an important piece, because otherwise once you get that first snow and you get a lot of that runoff going into your gutters, you could end up with a lot of overflow.
I honestly need to do that.
So
I have to say,
let's
I am not,
we're making a pact.
But I did
Here,
see,
the
I
three of
saw
us.
someone uses a spatula to grab them. So
My neighbor
Little
next door gets up on his roof, up on the roof, and he has his hose up there with the sprayer, and he'll spray them all down to one side, and his son is there with his garden gloves, and he just scoops them out.
well, there you go. That's
And
innovative.
It was very smart. And being up there
Okay.
versus on a ladder trying to do it, I thought that was really smart. So I'm going to take a cue from him this year and see if that helps.
I might try that too.
There's
Which
all
way
kind
did
of
you go?
Fun tools too.
Yeah.
Like there's an attachment that goes on your hose that extends, but it's like candy cane shaped,
Oh.
and it has a blaster. And you just,
Yeah.
but there's mitigation things too that you can put over your gutters.
Yep.
Yes.
Have you ever looked into that?
I have never looked into that, but I know the leaf guard thing is something I wrote down, because I definitely, that's a headache that you don't have to deal with.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to go about it. I want to say, no, they didn't.
Probably has holes on the top. And
they're perforated in it, but it's like a very fine mesh.
But not leaves.
Yeah.
Very good.
And so I want to say my folks might have done that on their, like they have a garage in their backyard. And I want to say they might have done that on the garage back there because it's under a big locust tree. But anyway, worth it to look into those options for your gutters. Also, just a little, sidebar. For me, favorite places to see those leaves change in Colorado. I love going up to Estes Park this time of year up around Rocky Mountain National Park. It's beautiful. Steamboat. I love going to Steamboat any minute I can in my life. And then even going down or up on, definitely not down, up on Trail Ridge Road to be able to kind of see.
Where's that?
You're above Timberline up there.
Where's Trail Ridge?
That's a good question. I think it's on your way out towards Steamboat. You'll go over it. But it's you're above Timberline, so there's no trees that grow up there, but you can look down to all the different areas where like the trees are growing and see all the colors changing across that valley. Is just gorgeous. So I've done that.
And if you don't have as much time, Guanella Pass is a really good one too, because it's right outside of Leadville, very close, or excuse me, outside of Georgetown. Mm-hmm. So it's like right there. So 40 minutes. You can go up and over.
I love that one too.
Camp up there. Yeah.
Independence Pass is like a really popular one too.
That one's very popular, but almost like too popular. Sometimes like the lesser known ones.
And that's a super narrow road too, which in parts, which kind of stinks. So
Independence?
Or am I thinking of another one? Maybe I'm thinking of another one.
You are.
Could be.
The Peak to Peak Highway is not bad either.
That's true. That's probably one of the better ones.
Boreas Pass. Just like randomly found this. This was on the other side of Independence Pass, close to, where did they film? South Park.
Fairplay.
Yeah, South Park.
It
was close
they
to
filmed
there.
it in the studio with
close to there, and it went up
animation.
and over into Breckenridge, and that was actually beautiful. I saw some elks, and there was no one on their dirt road, but not like crazy off-roading road. It was good. No, that's a different one. That's near Fairplay. This is like closer towards South Park.
Okay.
And then it's like kind of a dirt road up and over, and it pops you out on the other side of Breckenridge. It's really pretty.
You're giving us the inside info because you said there was nobody up there.
I know. I should.
So hopefully no one is listening to this episode.
Boreas Pass. It's like Boreas. Yeah. You're welcome.
Check that out.
You are welcome.
And you're welcome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, also a very important part of fall, I would say. Checking out those leaves.
Yeah. So another thing to do with your house is to make sure you get that garden cleaned up and get your lawn ready. So with the lawn, you're going to want to fertilize, aerate it if you can, and actually cut the grass nice and short too, right before the snow comes.
Can't emphasize enough that fall fertilization is so crucial to that grass health.
I've never done it.
It's worth it.
I'm going to try this year.
It's definitely worth it. Yeah, and obviously gutter cleanouts we do. Yeah, we got a guy, we got a company that'll do it for us. And as always, as we've mentioned on this podcast more than once, if you guys ever want recommendations for that, reach out to us.
We have some people.
Yeah, definitely reach out to us. We can connect you with the right people for that. But yeah, it's the lawn health it's worth it.
So there's that, and then also just making sure, I guess your garden is nice and cleared out too, and so ready for the next year. So pulling those plants. Actually, I don't pull my plants.
I'm of two minds because
I didn't pull them last year, and then it regrew, and it's a tomato plant, and I didn't think tomato plants regrew.
I didn't
this
think
one
so
did.
Either. Whoa!
So
maybe you created a new breed.
I don't know. It hasn't had any tomatoes yet, but it is growing like really big, and I actually let mine grow for a long time until like they stop because. This is when I guess all my tomatoes are coming out. I think I pulled off like 15 cucumbers yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Did you see that? Nico saw it.
Dang.
I waited a little.
If one fell on you, it would knock you out. That's
it
how big
was very large.
Cucumber clubs.
Well, I made pickles, but they didn't turn out, so I might have to try it again. So Nicole's Pickles round 2 is coming at you.
I think, my folks will do that. Yeah. They'll let the plants, they'll pull them, but they leave them in the planter box or whatever. and they let it be part of like the fertilization through the like as they decompose.
And then
the
it
winter.
might grow something. So that's a good idea.
It helps the soil too. It helps amend the soil a little bit. So I mean, we do it. We pull ours because our zucchini plant. We haven't seen a new fruit on there or whatever you want to call it, a new bloom on there in over a week. So I'm guessing it's probably done. But we'll see.
Mine are all still coming. But those darn raccoons, I swear to you, keep eating all of my tomatoes. I'm getting really pissed because they only take one bite and then they throw them. And it's not okay.
Not okay.
My neighbor was talking about trying to catch it. So hopefully she does.
There you go. I like
relocate
that.
It. We'll put it in your neighborhood, Nick.
No, thank you. I got bunnies galore. I don't need raccoons too.
Okay, on to the next.
Okay, let's talk about keeping yourself cozy and happy on the inside of the house through the winter. If you're fortunate enough to have a beautiful fireplace in your home, I like to call it getting it winter ready. So grew up with a fireplace in my parents' house in Arvada here, and making sure that you know what you're dealing with there. You obviously don't use that through the summer, and it's possible that, speaking of raccoons, I won't tell the story on here, but my parents had a terrible experience with their chimney not being completely empty as they went into the wintertime one time, and had to deal with it.
Mice can get in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So just making sure it's kind of winter ready, getting it cleaned out, getting it inspected. There are chimney sweeps that'll actually do an inspection, and then just so that it's ready to be clean and safe to use in the wintertime for a fire. So that's just kind of a side tip.
Alrighty. And then also making sure that you keep the warmth inside your house. So there's a couple ways you can do that. Make sure you have all of your everything sealed. So make sure there's like caulking around your windows, your door stops, anything like that. And then even underneath the doors, those what do you call those?
Weather stripping?
Yeah, weather stripping. Thank you. Yeah, if you have that, or, you can have those little cloth things too, whatever works best for you.
Yeah, so, and speaking of that warmth too, thinking about your furnace, health this time of year is good. If you're the kind of person that does the preventative maintenance thing, having your furnace serviced every year or every other year or whatever it is, can't hurt to have them out now. This is probably one of their busiest times of the year to be out for those kind of calls. Yeah. But even just checking that filter, making sure that it's clean and ready for the wintertime, because you're obviously going to be using it infinitely more than you were during the summer. So just being mindful of that maintenance on the furnace as well.
Yeah, and another main thing here in Colorado with our sprinklers. So obviously you do not want to keep water in those lines during the winter and when the snow is coming down and the ground is freezing. So make sure you blow out your sprinkler systems. There's a couple different ways you can do that. Obviously, you can hire a professional. I like to call my dad, and he comes over with his air compressor. That's considered calling a professional. Yeah, he's great. We do it together, and it's kind of fun. So you you know how to do it. You plug in the air compressor and blow out everything. So there's actually some sprinklers too, systems that are automatic. They have the drains. So if you were talking about this before we started recording, I have never heard of this. My sister used to have one.
Really?
Yeah. God, so they put it in. It's like an automatic drain system. You just say drain, and apparently it drains. Wow. So it's probably very similar to if you want to drain any other faucets that are outside, or, unhook your hose, make sure you drain out your hose, that kind of thing.
Also an important tip. So, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And then last but not least, we talked about getting your house ready to enjoy your yard during the spring and summertime. Well, now it's time to get ready to store those items away. So if you have patio furniture, making sure that you have, those cushions put away, whatever it may be. I know my folks they had this big deck off the back of their house. They used to, and they had this, wrought iron furniture out there, and they used to take it all and gather it together in a small little area of the deck, wrap it with tarp so that it was all safe through the winter, and they put the cushions away in the garage. So just being mindful of your patio furniture, getting that all put away. Obviously, with the garden going away, goes the garden supplies. And then, anything else that you normally store outside through the summertime, it might be wise to find a covered and safe, warm place for it to be stored throughout the winter. Yeah. Whether it's camping gear or otherwise, bikes, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to add one last thing. So, there's always those tasks that you want to get done and you mean to get done, like starting in spring, right? And then you keep putting it off and putting it off. But honestly, fall is a great time to do it because you're not kind of doing as much outdoor activity. And also the weather is super nice. So if you need to paint maybe your fence or do touch-up paint on your house or even like cabinets, if you want to paint your kitchen cabinets, take them outside and paint them. That's like now is a great time to do it as far as the weather goes. That or, kind of other things that if you want to try and do it before springtime so you can enjoy it, laying down pavers, anything like that. Might as well do it now.
I'm going to go on record saying that we've been talking about doing some updates in our bathroom, and we've got everything we need to do it, and we've had everything we need to do it since March. So I'm going to go on record and say that I'm going to do my best to get that done before the first snow comes. Yep.
Good.
Yep.
What is it?
It's minimal because we updated that bathroom when we moved in 5 years ago. But some of the fixtures my wife wasn't thrilled with. Some of the caulking's starting to crack a little bit around the tub and stuff. So just wanting to get it back to life a little bit, get it back to where it's, not going to have any leaks or anything like that. No, but it's just, we have a new vanity we bought. That's probably the biggest project. And then I have to tile one wall because we want to tile on one wall. So that's the other project.
Okay.
But it's exactly what you're talking about.
It's a great time to do it. You don't have to just wish you were outside. It's very nice out there, but at the same time, you can still do stuff inside.
It's true. And my wife, Jeannie, she's been refinishing a table, like a coffee table that we have, and the weather has been able to provide that because if you work in too hot of weather, the stripper isn't working properly on the wood and you can't.
And you're sweating and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of science behind it that I don't understand, but she does. And so, she's able to now work on it.
Can or the,
that's what it is. It's reading. That's the thing that just tough right there for me. So, but I agree with you. I think this is the time to do it.
Time to do those to-do list items.
The honey-do list can be marked off.
Yes.
Well, that kind of does it for us today. But thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate your support. And if you have any kind of feedback for us or comments or just want to send us some love, please do it in the comments on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. We see those. We appreciate those. In fact, we'll even shout those out on episodes if we get them. So please do. On top of that, if you haven't yet liked and followed and subscribed to us on those platforms, please also do that. That makes a big difference for us. We're going to push this thing to the top of the real estate pile. Get out of the way, everybody else. We're going to do it. So in the meantime, thank you to Black Shirt Brewing. This is delicious and it's hitting the spot. And thank you to my co-host, Nicole, and to our powerful engineer, Nico.
Cheers to brewskis and house keys.
Woo-hoo!
Cheers.
Cheers.